Well, let's get started, you guys. Thanks for jumping on the call. We're going to talk today about how to get more listings. I'm going to go through the top 20 things that I'm hearing and seeing. And then I'll turn it over to Judy Anno and Kim Gailey over at CW to give you some of the tools that you may want to take advantage of over at CW. And they have some things that they can share with you that's working over for them. And what's nice about CW is they have a lot of relationships with some of the Coldwell Banker and the Windermere agents. And so we kind of know what's working and what doesn't work. And they have a fantastic marketing department that can work with you to get some of these ideas employed. So with that, we'll just go ahead and get started. Shannon, if you could go to the next slide. A lot of people ask me how are we doing as a company? So I thought I might as well let's just air out our dirty laundry today and show you where we have been. 2014 is when we started tracking the listings that we've taken. As you guys know, we started the company in 2012, but didn't really hire agents until 2013. And then in 2014 is when we started to really have some traction when it came to listings. You can see where we've come and where we're going. The red line is 2020, and you can see the COVID impact and then the rise, and then we're kind of just having that uncertain conversation, I think, right now. And it's perfect timing to do this class with you guys, because I'd like to see that number rise. And I think it's very possible with the type of agents that we have and the spread that we have. We now spread all the way up to Blaine, the Canadian border, all the way down now to like Longview, pretty much anywhere the Northwest MLS services, we service as well. So if you are not familiar with, say, Blaine or Bellingham, or even out in the outlying areas, we have brokers now that span that distance. So you can talk very well with even clients that may not be looking to sell in our area, but maybe get a referral fee and you actually get us a listing up in those areas. So yeah, as you can see, 2020, we are still hovering between the 2017 numbers and the 2016 numbers. So there's definitely some room for improvement when it comes to our listings taken. Transactions, though, we're doing really well. In fact, we may break the 200 units, 200 sales in a month, which would be a record for us. So just like some of the media outlets have portrayed the COVID having an impact negatively, but then bouncing at the end of the summer, that is indeed what's happening for our transactions. But definitely an opportunity here for listings taken, that we could take more listings. We're below what we were in 2017. Next slide. So many people ask me, then Rochelle, okay, should I invest money in Zillow? Zillow calls me every day, by the way, you guys, every day. In fact, I got a text message and a phone message today. Every day they call me and they're wanting to have me participate in lead generation, which I've done it in the past, but I'm going through this, changing my business into more of a sphere of influence, or a, business that I can control. And so I'm not interested this time. Now, for some of you may want to consider some of these online channels. I would be very cautious, though, with any online provider, such as Zillow would be an example, where they say they will deliver seller leads. I have not found, and if you guys have somebody that you know that you want to get more business, I've not found one entity online that can drive seller leads. In my entire career, they've done a poor job, if you ask me, of generating listings or leads from online. Most sellers don't find their real estate agent that way. It's usually word of mouth, or it's sphere of influence. It's that kind of thing. So they don't trust an online generator to be that agent. Most of the time, I would say 99% of the time, those leads that they provide on Zillow, on Redfin, or on these different sources that you would find online, most of those leads or opportunities are buyers. And that's just the way the business has run. So when we talk about sources, I want to kind of just preface that you're not going to see a lot of online ideas here, but these are ideas that have worked with other Best Choice Realty agents or other agents that are taking a lot of listings. They are doing some of these things. They may pick 2 or 3 different ideas. And if that's all it does is spark some interest for you today, and then if you want to explore more in detail, again, we can talk with Kim Gailey or with, just with our marketing department to figure out how do we get these ideas off the ground and running. So I'm going to go through just the top 20, and then I'll turn it over to Kim and to CW to kind of share some of their ideas with you today. But number one, you guys should be touching base with everyone in your sphere of influence. One of the things you want to do is provide relevant content about the marketplace or their specific area or neighborhood. Offer to do an annual CMA. It's mid-year, so there's no reason why you shouldn't be doing a CMA just to kind of give them a house value. I've been using a company, Jason Ferrando gave me this idea, but using HomeBot. It's pricey, but it's also a way for me to almost set it and forget it. If you're not wanting to spend the time and actually do a CMA for your closed clients, HomeBot is a great tool, and it's definitely perked up my closed client database with little to no effort on my part. I literally just signed up for the system, and HomeBot has been sending out those monthly, here's what your home value is. Again, it's an online valuation, but it is striking up those conversations. So if you don't want to spend the money and you just want to use your time, which time is money for me especially, you may want to just go ahead and offer a CMA on their property, but don't neglect your closed clients. Those are all excellent sources right now for listings or for seller opportunities. Number two, there are agents, you wouldn't believe it, but even with COVID, they're going door knocking. They are like wanting to support their neighborhood or go local. I've heard of some of our brokers giving masks or supplies to their neighbors and striking up that relationship. There actually is quite, and when you say door knocking, it's really just having conversations, and it could be 6 feet apart, but it's literally having more conversations with people in your neighborhood. And again, asking them, can you support local? I run a local real estate business out of my home. Would you be willing to support my efforts? That's basically the gist of it with the door knocking. Number three, there are agents, Best Choice Realty agents, who have sent out letters to out-of-town landlords who might be tired of managing their rentals. We are seeing a great amount of listings coming from that source right now. Their Airbnb is definitely not doing as well. And so those sellers are sitting on the fence until they have somebody that they trust that reaches out to them and says, I have some tools to maybe help you. One of the creative ideas I heard of somebody doing in our office is they put a photo of that property on a letter and mailed out the letter to these out-of-town landlords in a specific area. So they took them some time to go drive around and take a photo of their house, but it definitely showed these out-of-town landlords what their property looked like. Some of them maybe needed to reach out and talk to their property managers, but it was interesting. It did spark some conversation on number three. Number four, pay attention and interact with people on social media who are experiencing a change in their lives. Making significant improvements on their home would also be another clue. Again, you don't want to say, hey, I'm a listing agent. Do you want to sell your home? You want to just really kind of engage them and notice them. Hey, love the kitchen remodel. What a beautiful job that, who is the contractor you use? Again, just strike up those conversations so that you become first in mind when or if they decide to sell. That is working really well. Again, private message me, those types of conversations are happening on social. It doesn't have to be just liking. In fact, it's a bit more than that. It's having conversation or commenting on their posts. If you see them making significant improvements on their home, they are likely to sell. Number five, when you say farm, a lot of our title reps have suggested that you do farming. Hopefully Kim can make it realistic for you guys. I think a lot of you get overwhelmed by the term farming, but you have to either be strategic with that or you need to be consistent with your farming. And I'll have them spend more time with you guys. I think some of the things you guys are going to provide, Kim, is about farming. Number six, if you have a listing, you need to send out some sort of market update to the neighbors. Think differently. It's not about just listed cards. I'm getting Some neighborhoods are inundated with those types of cards. I would say you want to think creatively outside the box. If you have a listing, market to the neighbors in whatever way that makes sense. Kim may have some great ideas for you of things that she's seen that's worked really well, besides just doing a just listed campaign. Average, if you asked different coaching programs, Tom Ferry, Mike Ferry, Buffini, any of these coaching, if you market that listing well, meaning that there's consistent marketing, maybe there's something that's sent out every other week, that would be the kind of type of marketing plan that would make sense. You have the opportunity of picking up 3 additional opportunities if you market that listing appropriately. If you don't have any listings, there are plenty of listings. As you saw on our screen, we have about 50 or 60 new listings at Best Choice Realty. They are all selling right now. We don't have a problem selling our listings. The problem is gathering and finding those opportunities right now. And so you may want to help maybe a seasoned, experienced broker, if they have a listing on, if they don't want to spend the money to market around their listing, you may be able to, in essence, join them in the marketing efforts. That has worked well in our office as well. Again, any of the listings we have, as long as the seller has not notified me they don't want their listing marketed. Most sellers want their home marketed on everything. That means that any of the Best Choice Realty agents can utilize a listing and help and get more eyeballs or more buyers interested. So there's nothing wrong with you doing that. If you want to talk offline about how you do that so you don't get yourself in trouble with the MLS, I'd be happy to spend some time and go over number 6 with you. Number 7, you should be contacting vendors. This is another great source of listings business. Many agents that have contacts with attorneys, law firms, CPAs, investment advisors, insurance agents, they all assist clients in the sale of their home or when they're up for renewal. They have a very good, strong book of business that you could tap into if you were to align yourself with those particular vendors. Other affiliates that I've worked with in the past, plumbers, roofers, carpet cleaners, electricians, they also work with people that are listing their home. Again, introduce yourself to them, stay connected, put them into your sphere of influence and consistently market to them. My attorney reached out to me and said, hey, he's looking at buying a lake house. Didn't have any interest in this, but I'm just subtly marketing to him in a way that I do with all my closed clients. And he's actively looking for that lake house. So again, you can pick up opportunities that way. It might not be buyers or it may not be sellers, but it may just be staying in contact and front of mind with these people. We also are seeing a drive for the assisted living or nursing home directors. If you get in contact with them, some of our agents have made contact with some of those types of people that are really struggling right now and dealing with some of the medical challenges in the COVID response. But if you're, again, being smart about how you connect with those people, they are also a good referral source for you. Number 8, if you are the listing agent and let's say you sold the home, that buyer, it's called the Adopt the Buyer program. It works really well. You basically put that buyer into your system. It takes longer for them to see your marketing, but you basically adopt them, and on average, people are moving every 7 years. So I actually started that program several years ago when I opened Best Choice Realty, and now it's kind of at that 7 to 8 year window where some of those people are actually thinking about moving, and honestly, they have forgotten their listing agent or their buyer's agent. Maybe they forgot about that Redfin rebate that they got because they don't offer the rebate in the same way. So that's another opportunity if you adopt the buyer program that could work. There's no harm in doing that. You have their address and you have their name from the contract. You would again have to put them into your sphere of influence and work it as an adoption program. Number 9, work with the for sale by owners. You could go on Zillow, look at the Make Me Moves, make some contacts that way. That has been very successful for some of our brokers to pick up listings. We had a broker who moved here from a different state, and that's all he did was he contacted a few for sale by owners just to get his first listing, got his first listing, and he's on his way. He just needed one listing in his area to make his business legitimate. Again, he was not from this area, he was from Chicago. Number 10, Send personal letters. This one is working really well right now. In fact, during COVID, we've picked up 2 listings with these personal letters to old expireds. Basically, our agents, I think, listened to our webinar we did a couple months ago. It's probably 3 or 4 months ago now. But they basically created a personalized letter that went out to the old expired, just letting them know that they were working and they were actively working that neighborhood, and that old expired did reach out and contact one of our brokers. You should be calling your old expireds if you've been in the business for a long time. If it's been a few years since they listed and maybe expired or canceled, definitely go ahead and contact them. This is the time to do that. Other people are doing market updates or networking events to service organizations, highlighting the inventory shortage. Many of you guys are getting Zoom accounts or other types. House Party was another new one I just ran across this last week. But you really want to do as many market updates or network events if possible to get your name out there as far as a person who handles residential or commercial real estate services. Number 12, coordinate a neighborhood event. You wouldn't believe it, but in my neighborhood, they did a garage sale. So again, gathering names, emails, and addresses would be really helpful to connect with people. Number 13, sending out a reverse marketing postcard or letter. I have a buyer looking. You definitely don't want to lie about this. If you have buyers who are looking in specifically like Sumner, for example, you would want to put, I have a buyer looking for Sumner. There is a letter that you can use and template. So you shouldn't have to come up with what to say. You're going to need to get some sort of list from title in order to do that postcard and do it well. Wear your branded items or purchase a name tag. Yes, people are still getting out there. They do see that you're, some people have got masks that have Best Choice Realty on them. It's a pretty cool idea. Or they purchase a name tag with their name and their company on it. That still works very well when you're out and about. Wearing different branded items does work. Number 15, write a blog or article about the shortage. There's a shortage of listings, and many sellers don't realize that they have quite a bit of equity in their homes and why it's a good time to sell. You have to answer that question and answer it well in written format. So number 15 is something that is not for the faint-hearted, and you do have to have some knack at writing a blog or article, but it does get picked up. Number 16, work with foreclosure or distressed property owners. We are starting to see that with people losing their jobs or being furloughed. You probably will see more foreclosed or distressed property owners. And again, title and escrow is a great place to start to get that data or to get that information. And we do have vendors in-house. Many of you don't realize that we have construction, stagers, photographers. We have these types of people who can assist in getting their property either. Maybe it's not even put on the open market. Maybe it's something that we have investors that pick up in-house and get that seller where they need to be before they have to go through foreclosure. But make sure that they understand that we have vendors in-house that can help them. We have investors, we have photographers, we have stagers, we have construction people. They're all very, very good at what they do, and they are all licensed with Best Choice. Many people don't realize that we have our own concierge program right here in-house. Number 17, contact non-owner occupied and see if they want to do a 1031 exchange. We've done classes on 1031 exchange. Now is the time to put some marketing around it and notify those non-owner occupied properties that you have experience, or your firm. We do have experience in doing a lot of 1031 exchanges. Those are some great opportunities for listings right now with 1031s. My brother even called me. When my brother calls me from overseas and says, hey, I think I want to put one of my investments on the property and take advantage of these low interest rates and basically do an exchange, it's time to start getting out there. My brother is pretty good at investing in properties. He made a lot of money. He's made probably more money in real estate than he has in his military career. So he calls me when these market opportunities become available. Number 18, run a consistent EDDM route for mail. We are going to be doing that in our office, so stay tuned. I am creating that system right now and trying a mail route. And Lori, our beautiful, wonderful graphic designer, she's helping me in running that consistent EDDM route. Again, to be more consistent, less strategic, right? And less homes, but a lot more dropping of mail, because a lot of brokers have pulled back on marketing. They're not spending money in marketing, which creates an opportunity for you guys to actually go out there and start farming or doing some sort of, it's called every door direct mail. So it's a way to get a lot more mail out into mailboxes than maybe in the past. There's also a core fact account that we have. So if you want to be less, not as much volume, but more strategic, we do have a core fact account. And that is a way to target postcards or target so that they actually connect. And then the last thing I'll say, number 20, before I turn it over to Kim, is that everyone who owns a home is a potential seller, even if they don't think they want to sell now. So that is an important point. Just realize that anybody that owns a home is a potential seller. And you almost need to kind of repeat that, because a lot of people think, oh, it's not a good time to sell right now. But you know what? You could probably prove otherwise with some of the consistent marketing that you do. And again, it's just, again, staying top of mind with your clients. If you have any projects that you're working on, this is a plug for Lori. She does a beautiful job. She definitely has time to work with you. You would just need to send her an email or support an email at bestchoicerealtywa.com, and they can help you with the project. It doesn't take much time. Canva is great, and she's going to teach you guys how to build flyers on Canva pretty simply. We're going to do that here in the next week. But if you have specific projects or things you're thinking about that you may want to try, you might want to reach out and call Lori or email Lori, and she can help you with the graphics. But everybody that has a home is a potential seller. So with that, I'll turn it over to Kim. Kim is our rep at CW Title. Kim, hello.
Good morning. Good afternoon, actually. I'm great.
Yes.
To see everyone. I
messed up your cell phone.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. I messed up your cell phone? Sorry about that. It's 360.
Yeah, it's 360. That's okay. Those of you who don't have your videos on, don't be shy. We want to see your faces. So turn them on so we can see you. But I just want to welcome all of you. I know this has been a difficult time during the stay home, stay safe order and all of the things that are taking place in our world right now. Luckily, CW Title has stayed ahead of that curve. Before this all started, we launched our CW Secure, which is a mobile app that people can deposit their earnest money right from their phone. It is double encrypted, and we use the same security as the Pentagon. So it's very, very safe. We've had absolutely zero problems with it. I've been on Zoom calls all week long, and we've gotten a lot of feedback that other companies have not built an app and there's been some glitches. I don't really know that, but ours is working great. People are excited. They still have the option, of course, of taking the money in if they want. We can also pick it up. So we're just finding all kinds of ways to work around things. We did launch CW Accelerator yesterday or the day before, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but that is a 21-day close. We're watching trends very heavily during this time, and that is one of the things that we're seeing, that people are wanting a 7-day close, a 10-day close, a 21-day close. So we are kind of adapting and pivoting to those things. Today, mostly what we're going to talk about is how to gear you guys up and get you some business. We have been doing these trainings. I think this is the second one we've done for Best Choice. Judy and myself and our 16 reps. It's kind of taken on a life of its own, and the people that are using it are doing amazing. As far as farming, I'm going to turn it over to Judy and let her go over everything with all of you. But don't be afraid to farm. I think what the most important thing to me, I've done this for 18 years. And when you're going to farm, I think the most important thing that you want to think about is you want to go an inch wide and a mile deep. So you want to be consistent in it. Farming does not have to be expensive. It is time consuming, but I think we all would agree we have a little time on our hands right now. So it's the perfect time. And at the beginning of all of this, I thought I'm going to come out of this a different person. I'm going to learn something new. We've learned a lot of new things. We've learned Canva, we've learned Zoom, and there's so much that we're doing as a company, and we have so many resources that it can be a little overwhelming. But I just think, again, you want to go an inch wide and a mile deep, not a mile wide and an inch deep. And if you guys want to do a deep dive into that, Judy's going to show you some ways to do that today. Again, I want you to know that as your rep for CW, the things that set us apart is we are local. So we are the largest independent title company in Washington. And anything that you need, we can go straight to the president of our company, our vice president, our COO, and we do that on a daily basis. Our title people are there and available for you. Just this morning, I have a review being done for one of the owners at a different company, and we did not issue the report, but Brad has been working on it for 4 days to clear up some issues with her because they have a very analytical client. And so we're working through that with them because we don't offshore, we don't send things out, we do everything locally. So if you need us, we're here. I want to thank Rochelle. I think you guys are so fortunate. I know I say this on every one of our talks, but she has such a wealth of information and does such a great job in positioning you guys in the market. And what we want to do is just be an extension of that and help you grow your business. Like I said, we are the largest independent title company, and being local is very, very important to us. So I'm going to turn this over to Judy right now. Feel free to jump in with questions, or we can cover all of those at the end. Just know that we're dedicated to helping your business grow, and we're a lot of fun to work with, and we've got some great tools to show you today. So at that point, I'm going to turn it over to Judy, one of our amazing customer service people, and feel free to jump in if you need to.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and, Rochelle, did you go ahead and share the screen so I can pull up the flyers? I'm going to go ahead and pull that up and get started. So just a little bit of information about myself. I've been with CW Title in the property research team for the last almost 4 years. We're a team of 5. So I'll kind of show you the pictures of the girls that are on the team. If you've worked with customer service, property research team, you might have dealt with one of us 5 here. And our customer service information is just at the bottom here. So if there's any way you need to get a hold of us, there's our phone number as well as our email to our entire team. So you've got Paulina, Tracy, Claire, myself, and Alma. We're very fast, and we're between the 5 of us, we have a lot of knowledge in what we do day in and day out, a lot of information that we feel is really good for agents to increase their business opportunities that we can share. And we also have like suggestions and advices. If you need assistance, you can always reach out to us, and we can help, as well as reaching out to Kim. She can help you as well. So with that, I kind of want to talk to you guys about some of the tools that we have that'll be good opportunities for you. Right here is our tools for success. There are some things that we do that we have to charge. It's from our commissioner. So this is just a list of prices for things that we offer, anywhere from like aerial photos to comps to listing packages, home books, VI reports, farming. So these are just price sheets and that just show our prices. I got 2 pages of it. The second one's got just a couple more. And it also kind of tells you like what's in each of these things that we provide. So I'm going to move on into farming. This is a really key source for you guys, especially with the stay home, stay safe order. I know that some counties are kind of moving into different phases, but with that ongoing process, these are just some tools that really could benefit you right now. It's something that if you're going to invest in and work with, it's best to be really consistent with farming. We offer 2 types of farming. We have on our left here is our general farm. It's $2. You get up to 25,000 parcels for $2. The best way to use this general farm is, let's say you are getting ready to list a property, or you just sold a property and you want to let the surrounding neighbors know. You may want to go like 100, 200 closest residents around that subject property. This would be a good way to use this particular farm. Or let's say you need to get names and addresses of everybody in a specific condo. Again, this is a good way to use this particular farm. And a third way is what we call a paint your farm. So if you need to get specific, let's say you're working in a really large subdivision, but you don't want that entire subdivision and you just kind of want like a general parameter. If you provide us the 4-point boundaries, northeast, west, and south, what we would do is we would literally pull that map up, outline that parameter, and then all the data and criteria that is provided will only pull the parcels within those 4 boundaries. So we can really narrow your search down to how little or to how big you would like it. As you can see, these are information that's provided on our general farm, owner's name, parcel, street information. You can farm owner to non-owner occupied. You can select things like waterfront properties. You can do it by zip code. You can do it by streets, subplats, school districts, and further on, you can do bed and bath counts. All this great data in a farm that is in an Excel for $2. Our other farm is our comprehensive farm. This one's a little bit different. This one is pulled from an outside source who actually uses a third party to do the research based on the criteria that we supply them. The farm cost is different. It's anywhere from 3 cents to 20 cents per lead, and it varies. We don't know which criteria is 3 cents and which criteria is 20 cents until we actually work the farm and we submit a count and a cost. Then it will tell us what the average cost is per lead. But as you can see, there's 4 columns of just numerous criteria that you can use. Our most common request when we get this in through customer service is when an agent needs to get a list of names and addresses of homeowners who have equity. 30% plus seems to be a common search for us when they're trying to find out owners that have substantial amount of equity that might be potential sellers. And then another one is age, our demographics for age. So if you want to look for like anybody over the age of 65, or if you want to hit a mid-range from 30 to 40. So that's another popular request for us. But a good one too is occupation. So if you really want to narrow down and work your sphere with some common ground as to what you like, or let's say you're wanting to reach out to those that are in the health service or those that are electricians or accountants, you can certainly narrow that down and it would pull just those that are in that line of work. But you can also go to things that they like. If you want to reach out to someone who likes to do gardening and farming because the weather's getting really nice, you can select that. Only thing we do not do is we can't do race or religion, but we can do, like I said, age and job status. So as you can see, for just tons of options, depending on how you want to work your sphere. Keep in mind the more criterias that you select can sometimes tend to really narrow down. So you may not get as many names that you like. So we may have to kind of work with you on just modifying that, because when you get really specific, it really just draws to those specific criteria. So that's with our farming. So just something to really work on if you are farming. We like to say when you're farming, if you're doing it every month or you can do it every quarter, because information changes through the county on a monthly and a weekly basis. So if you're really consistent with your farming and you just kind of want to reach out periodically, quarterly is good, or even monthly is even better, depending on how much you want to spend with your marketing resources. Another great tool that we have that's fairly new is our e-home book. So this is an electronic home book that we've just modified. We've changed the cover to a really nice bold look. This is pretty much similar to our home book. The cost for this is $4 if we email it to you. However, if you wanted a printout copy of the PDF files, we can certainly print them out for you and mail it to either your office or your home. And that's $6. What's included in our e-home book is our beautiful cover here that's on the right, but you're going to get your property information. So you're going to get your property profile. You'll get a zoomed in and a zoomed out plat map along with an aerial. And then you're going to get the last vesting deed of that property. Then we'll provide anywhere from 4 to 6 comps along with a market trend report that's 8-year history around the property and a nice clean city profile that has a lot of great information, parks and recs, restaurants, emergency contact numbers, school data information, a little bit about the neighborhood, just really nice. And these are all things that we've actually just recently updated. So if you haven't seen it, this is what the cover looks like up top here. Then we have our action, and I'll actually show you what an e-home book looks like. I'll just kind of zip through this because it's pretty big one, but here's our cover. And then we jump right into our nice property profile along with our maps. So let's see here. Sorry, it looks like it's.
No, while you're flipping through, Judy, this is great. I mean, this shows if I had connected with CW, it just shows the seller that we've taken the time to do the research. Well, you guys have taken the time, but we like to basically say, hey, we've done this additional service for a potential seller. It just adds a lot to the presentation.
Absolutely. And so this is just a sample home book, so you can see how the aerial shows that as it gets there. Sorry, it's a little slow here. You'll see that obviously the property is on a waterfront area. So some owners like to see how their view of their property looks like and where it shows on the map, and you can see surrounding properties. Apologize, it's a little slow. And then it goes right into our deed. So you're going to have your deed, and then right after the deed, it's going to go into our comps. So this is like a larger of our home books. When our gal in our marketing created this, she wanted to make sure that when we demonstrate, you can kind of really see how much, like you said, how much efforts we put into our products. So here's our comps, and right here we have it looks like 5 comps. So we do anywhere from 4 to 10 comps around the property. And how we pull our comps is by bed and bath count and square footage. And we like to really keep within, we like to start at 1 mile, because the closer to the subject property, we're hoping to get comparable comps. So, as you're looking through them, you have an idea of where the property value stands amongst the surrounding properties that are incomparable. But, we have it brings the price, the assessed value, square footage. And on our map compared to our list of comps here, comp number 1, that property, here's all the property information on that, all the way up to the 5th comp that's on that map. And then just an average amongst the 5, it'll tell you that we pulled 5 parcels, the average sale and average loan between the 5. So just kind of a little overall status on that. And it'll tell you, which is really nice here, it'll tell you that out of those 5 comps that we pulled, 3 of them are owner occupied, 2 of them are non-owner occupied. So that non-owner occupied could be a potential renter. So this might be a good way to reach out to the homeowner who might be living, let's say, out of state and wants to maybe consider selling. Right now is a good a good point to maybe reach out and say, I noticed that you're not living this property. The market value around your property is this. They might be willing to sell. And then of course, average year built, most of those 5 properties are amongst the 1977 year built range. Then we go right into our market trend report, and I'll talk a little bit more about this, but at least you can kind of see what it looks like. Basically, it's just several graphs of 8-year history surrounding the subject property. And then we go right into, I think it's going to be our beautiful city profile. So this is another update that we've done, just kind of really cleaned the background, made it nice and clear. So all the information stands out and just really bright looking. We're really proud of our new upgrades to our home books. We feel like we put a lot of new tools and new insight to it. but list of elementary schools, and there's going to be private schools all the way up to high schools and colleges. This is a long list. I'm just going to zoom real quick through that. So, and then right into some local shopping information. This one, let's see here, sorry. Along with some information on, so here's like some shopping areas around that area. And then we go into a park and rec. So all these parks on this map below, we coordinate the numbers to the map, gives an address, the name of the park, along with how many acreage and what the facility contains. So let's say, you know, you want to go for a nice hike or a nice walk. You can kind of look at some of these on this list and see where they have trails, or a picnic area if you want to have a nice lunch. So just really nice information to go with our city profile. And then we go right into delivery services for restaurants. You know, nowadays, a lot of people use like the DoorDash, the Bite Squads, the Grubhub. So we kind of provide that information in our profiles. And then grocery delivery services. And then we have our utilities. This is a really nice one. Someone moves into an area and needs to reach out and get their utilities set up. These are all numbers that they can reach out to do so. And then important numbers like the fire department, libraries, local hospitals, and therefore. So that's our lovely e-home book, which is going to bring me right into our home book, which is very similar. Another thing that we've done is prior to a week ago, we had our home books had 3 options of covers. We've now gone to just one, really clean. So our right is the e-home book cover. The one on the left is our actual home book, or our actual home book cover for our hardbound copies. So very similar, along with nice matching tent cards to go with the home book. And as our e-home book, if you prefer this look versus our home book, we can use this as well on our hardbounds, because we do have matching tent cards to go with it. But we just kind of simplified it and kind of made it more modern and up to date. But our home books have the same information as our e-home books do. Only difference is, instead of emailing it to you, we're going to mail you a hardbound copy. Cost for that is $10. And we have what they call an enhanced classic home book. Only difference is with that versus our home book is it's $12, but it includes crime and demographics. Some agents like to put both of that information in, whether it's good or bad data. They like to be upfront. So some will say, yes, please provide the crime and demographics in the home book. So that's just a $2 upcharge to provide that data, because that data is also pulled from an outside source for us. And so right now, I know some offices are starting to gradually, agents are starting to gradually get back into the office. But if you're currently still working from home, as my team is, we can still send your home books to the office, or at this time, we can also send it to your home if that's a better way to do, or we can send it directly to your client's residence. So those are some options we have to make sure that we get these home books to you. All we ask is that if you're needing us to send it to your address or to your client's address, that we just need that address to send it out to. Our turnaround time for our home books is 24 hours. Our e-home book is same day. So as we're working that request, we get that out same day, but we just need delivery time. So we say 24 hours. So once we create the home book, we get it out, and it generally takes 1 to 2 days via mail, depending on where you guys are located. So that's fairly quick. Or if it's an emergency, or if you need it really fast, we can overnight it. So again, options for you guys during the stay home, stay safe order. And then it brings me into our home portfolios. This is a great post-closing gift. So let's say you've got a buyer who just closed, moved into their home. This is a great gift to provide to them. It's a great way to follow up and just make sure things are going great, or if they need any further help from you. But what's in this home portfolio is just a tad bit different than our home books. It is $18. It has inside the contents is going to be, again, a listing package. So it's going to be their property profile, their 2 maps, an aerial map. But what's important is it's going to have their vesting deed. So anytime they need information on their deed, they're going to have it in that book for them, along with a market trend report that just kind of gives an overall view of the value and where their property sits at the time of their purchase, as well as a city profile. Along with that is we'll put a USB drive in that book. So if you guys as agents want to add or customize more data that you want to provide to your buyers, you're more than welcome to add that into the book or onto the USB drive. What we do with the USB drive is if title and or escrow or both have been opened up through CW Title, we'll ensure that we put their policy on that USB drive as well as their settlement statement. Great information for them to have for tax purposes or any reason if they have to go back, they'll have that on that USB drive, along with a recorded CC&R. So if their subdivision or their area or a condo, if it has any CC&Rs that are recorded, we'll make sure that's also on that USB drive too, because that also gives them, if they want to do something to their property, they can look at that and say if it's something that can or cannot do, because it does have some restrictions and covenants data on there. So it's just some insight for them. And then moving labels if they need them.
This is great. The home portfolio, I've heard some of our brokers doing is they're using like that adoption program I told you about. Like they'll list the home. They may not get a home book when they list or do the, the stuff that you've done. But they will order the home portfolio for that buyer. And it's interesting because like what buyer's agent is going that little extra step, just giving this as a gift, with, welcome to the neighborhood. Here you go. Here's your home portfolio. So some of them are really having some great success with that, with the home portfolio.
We're seeing more and more requests with this, which is wonderful because it hasn't always been a big tool for us to create. But I would say since the Stay Home Safe order, we've been getting a lot of home book requests. Definitely since we rolled out our e-home books, we've been getting a lot of requests for that and definitely our home portfolios. So 3 wonderful tools, for your clients, and they would certainly really appreciate it. It's just a lot of information for them. And so, and then another option on this home portfolio is if you don't want a book, you can do a USB drive where we put all the data and stuff on the USB drive for $11. But I tend to lose small things. So I always push the books because, if I have it, I know where it's at. I'm most likely not to lose my book versus my USB drive. So just another option for you guys. And then our market trend, I know I kind of briefly went over that in our e-home book, but I want to talk a little bit more about this because this is a great tool for agents to really reach out to their farming sphere or an area that they'd like to work around. It's something that homeowners really like to see. It's an 8-year history around the property, and it just has data and it's bullet points. So it's like really good to the eye. Like you see this bright, sharp, colored looking, piece of paper with information, and you're just like looking at it and you're just like, oh, wow, I didn't know. And it's a really good eye catcher. This is something that is included into our 3 books, our e-home book, home book, and home portfolio. However, you can also get this separately by itself for $1 per farm. And I will pull the next one. This is what the actual looks like. So I'll kind of break it down for you guys. So on the market trend report here, we use this address of 5601 23rd Ave Northeast, properties in Tacoma. We start out with a half a mile. We tend to try to go between 400 up to about 1,000 parcels. The smaller the parcels we pull is going to be more closer to the property, but some people like to kind of go farther out with maybe some subdivisions kind of around theirs. So that's why we go up to a larger number. So we put the mid-range here of 850, goes back 8 years. First graph is 8 years of history sale. You can see the low points to the average sale to the high. And you can see right now we got this one is just 2019, but we've got some 2020 data. And you can just kind of see the averages each year, and you can kind of see how the market goes up, and some of the lows and some of how the sales progress. And then the graph next to it is our most recent assessed value. So it kind of just breaks down the percentage of each of those homes in a graph. Then we have a number of how homes sold within that year. So keep in mind that these counts, like this one in 2019, 58 homes sold within that half a mile parameter around this address. And it kind of goes each month back to 2013. And then you've got your average cost per square feet. And then a nice one is out of those 850, it tells you how many of each of those homes has the bedroom. So for 3-bedroom, there's 450 homes out of that 850 that are that in 4-bedroom and 5-bedroom plus. And then we've got our floor square plan here. And then we've got our lot size per square feet, along with length of ownership. Some people like to know, this is a really good graph right here, because if you're trying to reach out to someone who has lived in their home for quite a long time, most likely they've gained equity on their property. So you can see out of the 850, 491 owners have lived in their house 10 plus years. This might be a good group of people to reach out to, and they might be willing to sell or list their home. So another little graph to show that. And then distinctive features. How many of those homes have a view versus a non-view or waterfront? As you can tell, none of them have waterfront around this property, but 400 have some sort of view, whether it's a mountain view or just a city view, but it has a nice view of some sort. And then average homes, the years built, for example, between 1990 to 1999, 413 out of those 850 homes were built within that those years. And then our last part of our market trend report is the educational graph, which kind of a lot of parents like to know this. How many students per teacher? How many students are currently in the school district? How many teachers have master's degree versus teaching experience? So it kind of gives a breakdown of that. So just a little bit of local information on the schooling. And so all this great information for $1, and it's something that we can either email to you guys. So if we email it to you, it's 2 pages, but if we print it and mail it out to you, it's 1 page front and back. So just something to think about, but a great tool. Most recently, we've been getting requests from agents that have actually asked us to pull MTRs for their farming. So they'll give us an Excel spreadsheet, anywhere from like 50 parcels to I've seen over 280 parcels that they want us to provide these MTR reports. We've actually printed them out for them, mailed it to them, and what they've decided to do is, tri-fold it, stick it in an envelope, and mail them out to their farming sphere, and I think also as well as potential future clients. So just something to think about, something to, if you have any further questions on it, we can certainly talk to you more about that. But we also do a lot of non-feed items. So we can, in customer service, if you're getting a listing and you need title or title and escrow opened, you can certainly email my team, and we can get that started for you. When we do open up title and open up or escrow for you, we automatically provide you a listing package for that property. So you're going to get a confirmation order number. You'll get the property profile, the 2 plat maps, and the last vesting deed. Some agents like an Exhibit A, which is a clean version of the legal description. A lot of agents like to present that at the time of their meeting with their clients, because if they do move forward and the client decides to use you as their agent, you can go ahead and have them sign that, and that's kind of starts your process. So we can do that. We can pull deeds of trust. If you need as-built information, as long as the as-built is recorded through the county, we can pull that. CC&Rs that we can do. City profiles can also be purchased separate, so not just in our books, but we can also send those individually. We've had agents reach out to us and say that they have clients that are looking in certain areas and they thought it would be great to have the city profile. So as they're talking with them, they're kind of just showing some brief information about the area. That's 75 cents per city profile. So some key things that we can provide for you that are very essential to what you guys do day in and day out. Other than that, any question? Oh, billing. Let me talk to you guys about billing. So any of our tools that we have that do have a charge is billed the following month. So let's say you do a farm, a $2 farm, we get that out to you this month. You won't see that billing from our accounting department until July, typically the first week or two of the month. They send that via email with an invoice and a brief description itinerary of what's being charged. And then within that email is a link, PayPal link for you to go ahead and proceed with payment. So that's how we bill our customer service products on a monthly basis. So other than that, I think I've shared a lot of information with you guys. If you have questions, certainly I can answer them for you, or any suggestions, or if you need ideas, we're here for you as well. We're a really fast team and very friendly, of course. And then we like to be very quick with what we do, because when we're fast at what we do, it gives you guys time to do your job. So that's what we're here for.
Judy, you did amazing. Let's open it up to questions. Shannon, did you get any personal messages that came through?
Let's see. I think I might have seen something from Mary Austin. Mary, did you have a question? Okay. Another one I had was, are there any lists that have emails or phone numbers?
Oh, good question. Very excellent question. So unfortunately, we do not have access to personal data such as phone numbers and emails. There is a company that I believe does provide that information, but you have to subscribe to it, and it's about $80, I believe $80 a month to do so. I can get that information for anybody who does need that or are interested in, you know, further information such as the emails and phone numbers. But unfortunately, our farming, we can only provide the owner's name and address.
I added that into the chat for anyone that needs it, the phone number and the gentleman's name. So no title companies can provide that. So we are mandated by the OIC, the insurance commissioner. So they're very strict on what we can and cannot do. But I did put that in the chat for any of you that need it or interested in doing that. So I think a lot of these things like we've talked about today is just really getting in front of people. And I think that I would encourage, I'm looking at this and I think there's about 25 of you on the call. If you need coaching, if you need an accountability partner, either partner up or like Judy said, the girls in customer service are amazing. The wealth of knowledge that they can offer, they're so fast. I always tease them, I'm like, they're Jimmy John's fast because they just do everything to you right away. We have seen a huge surge in the e-home books. And we've taken that a step further. Those even come with tips on how to use it and how to use that information on the MLS. So not only do you have our amazing, and I think Rochelle will attest to this, our amazing marketing department. It's second to none in the business. I've done this for 18 years. I've coached real estate agents all across the nation. And what I hear from other reps, realtors, owners, brokers, everyone's like, I would die to have your marketing department. So we feel very lucky. The second part of that stool is our customer service. So those girls knock it out of the park every single day. And to take Judy out every day for an hour, it's just, I know she was working really late last night getting slides together and everything. So thank you so much. We couldn't do it without you guys. But I would really take a look at what you've learned today. The market trend report is amazing. That is really going to make you the community expert. So again, if you want to do a deeper dive into that, I'm happy to go over that with you. It does come in the electronic home book, the portfolio book, the home book. I can send you just a personalized flyer, but it's a great way to reach out to people. I had a gal that I was helping a few months ago, and she just was she had asked me the same thing probably a month and I said, I backed her up and I said, okay, so at the very beginning of when we started talking, I asked you to make 5 calls a day to your sphere. And I said, have you done that? No, I've only made a couple. So kind of just held her feet to the fire a little bit. I got a phone call from her probably 2 weeks later that said, I absolutely committed to you the last time. I went ahead and I made my 5 phone calls. She said, while I was at lunch with a friend, I was talking to her, or I think she had called, and that friend was at lunch with someone else. And the sister-in-law said, yeah, we're going to list our house. So normally the person would have said, oh yeah, great. But instead she said, hey, I've got an agent that just reached out, and she told him about the market trend report. So she had this soldier out there working for her. So again, look at your sphere of influence, tell them about something. I had a lender reach out to me yesterday and send me an agent that he manages the USO, and he's a manager for the USO. And one of my lenders said, Kim has this home book that you need and to take it in front of your customer. So there are all kinds of things that those are things that you don't even know they're going to come to fruition, but they do. So again, study them, break it down into bite-sized pieces if you have to look at one thing a week. I also have all of our new, we used to, and Rochelle and a lot of you know, I've met with Ellie and many of you. So we just meet one-on-one usually. Since we can't do that, I've put everything into one packet for you, like a new agent packet. And we can either give those to you weekly, I can give it to you all at once so that you can kind of sort through it. And like I said, learn a new skill while we still have this time at home. And then lastly, just to wrap up, what we've seen, like I said at the beginning with the CW Accelerator, we're very excited about that. I sent Rochelle just a 2-minute video from our president, and he just put that out, and I'm going to add that to social media today. But we've seen a substantial increase in closing requests for less than 3 weeks. So we built CW Accelerator to meet the market demands at no additional charge to you or your client. So CW Accelerator is designed for the clients who need to move more quickly through the closing. That's not going to be every closing, but if you need it, it's there. We've tagged everything. We have internal documents. It's very closely monitored. Our vice president is watching that. So we're able to meet the needs because CW Title and Escrow has remained fully staffed during all of the COVID. And we're fully confident in you, the community, and our market. We haven't done layoffs. We don't offshore. So all of those things mean a great deal to us. And so if you need any help with that, you can just call me, text me, all the people in customer service, Judy, any of us, we're always available to you. So again, thank you for taking the time to be on the call. I'd love to do a deeper dive with any of you. You know how to get a hold of me. And let's start getting you out there and getting some listings going because the market is amazing right now.
Yes. Ben had a question real quick, just to confirm. The market trend report comes with the eHome book just for $1 extra. Is that correct?
No, it's included in it.
Everything that's in the books are one charge. So our e-home book is the $4 charge, home book $6, I'm sorry, home book $10 charge. It's just the dollar is if they want to purchase it separate by itself without the home books.
Good. Awesome. That's
What
even
some people do with that. There's 2 or 3 different ways that they use it, Ben, to answer your question. Some people at the end of the year send out a market trend report every single year to their entire database for their specific home. So say if you had 15 homes in a subdivision or you had 50 different clients, it would be $1 per home. If you were going out door knocking or just showing that, I tell people do not give them that exact address. Show them an example so they have a reason to come to you, and then just say, you know, that's a great way to ask for referrals. If you have any friends or family that could use this service, it's an 8-year market trend, explain it to them and tell them it'll take me a day or so to put it together, but I would love to facilitate that for you, no charge. And again, that's going to give them a reason to reach back out to you.
right. Love the hook. That's awesome, Kim. Of course, you would know how to hook them on that.
What idea, girl?
Yeah. Very good. Awesome. Well, I think that was it, Shannon, unless there's any other last questions that came into you.
No, that's all.
Okay. Awesome. You guys have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye.